The last presentation of this meeting is on machine learning to automate biomarker detection from OCT scans, and it's given by Sebastian Wolf.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm talking about machine learning to automate biomarker detection from OCT scans. These are my disclosures. In this slide, I will summarize the technique of machine learning in very short. It always starts with a set of big data on many images, and these needs to be annotated to identify pathologies. Then, by feature engineering from these images, the different features are extracted, and then we have a set of data and try to separate these into the different findings. And the easiest way would be a line, like you all know, defined by two parameters, but this is not a very good separation between the different pixels. And so machine learning had brought us a possibility to build models with thousands of parameters, which very nicely separate the different features in an image. And this model can then be adapted or applied to new patient data. And these new patient data give you then the results which a human grader could do as well. And during the last year, this machine learning has been replaced, or we use deep learning with neural networks to do the machine learning. And this allows us now to build models with millions of parameters. But of course, this requires much more data and much more images to be annotated to train these data or these deep learning networks. And we have to keep in mind that the performance of the neural network strongly depends on the quantity and quality of the data we put in for training and the annotations we are using for this. We were aiming to identify different biomarkers from OCT volume scans like this one, and we identified a number of different biomarkers like subretinal fluid, intraretinal fluid, drusen, geographic atrophy, and the others. And as first step, we identified how good a human grader could identify these parameters. And in this slide, the human performance is shown. On the x-axis, you see the different biomarkers. On the y-axis, you see the kappa values, the concordance of the different graders. And you see there biomarkers which were very nicely identified by human graders, and others have less concordance. We then trained a neural network with annotated images and looked at these biomarkers. And this is a representation of the output of this neural network. On the left-hand side, you see the OCT, the different B scans building one C scan. And on the right side, you see the appearance of the biomarkers. Dark red means that there's a high likelihood that this biomarker is present. Dark blue means there's a low likelihood that this is present. And for each column, this is one of the B scans building up this OCT volume. And here you see that in this volume, predominantly subretinal fluid and fibrovascular PED is present. And you even can get some information in which scans this biomarker is present without having trained the algorithm to look at the position of the different biomarkers. And we compared this with our human graders' performance, and the blue points show the performance of the artificial intelligence network. And you see that the AI system is at least as good as the human graders. We applied the same network to 500 patients with DME and compared this with 3 graders, and we can see that the ROC curves for finding intraretinal fluid or subretinal fluids are in the high 90s, so a very good concordance between this. And of course, we could use we could look at the activation maps or heat maps, which give you location information of the different biomarkers. So, and if you compare the OCT scans, like in the first row, drusen, subretinal fluid, and geographic atrophy, there's a very good local coordination between the presence of the biomarker and the location. So this gives us a location of the biomarker for free without having segmented this. And of course, we could analyze such a B-scan again and project the presence of the biomarker on the fundus image. So we have a map of the presence of the biomarker on the fundus image, which is shown in this example. The next, we thought, could we use AI to support treatment decisions? And as you know, mostly treatment decisions are based on the presence of fluid or activity in the eye. And we applied this in a retrospective analysis to 960 eyes, either with AMD or diabetic macular edema. And first, we compared a trained reading center grader with a variety of clinicians, and this is a green curve. And you see, if we compare the grader with the artificial intelligence system, there's a higher concordance between the trained grader and the artificial intelligence system, showing that it's possible to have treatment recommendation with this AI system. So as takeaway, a deep learning approach for automatic grading of biomarkers is feasible. Most individual biomarkers are detected with a very high accuracy. For sub- and intraretinal fluid detection, we found accuracy with the ROC over 0.96, which is very good. Additionally, it's possible to have automated biomarker localization by looking at these heat maps, and treatment decision support is possible as well. Finally, I would like to thank my team, which have done most of the work and the funding of the research. Thank you very much.